I'm really glad that we're going to do this. And I know it's totally last minute and you're giving up some time on a Wednesday night, but there's never going to be a perfect time where we can get everybody together. But I thought this might be a time to just hop on and really kind of hone some things in. I think now is a really critical time in our business. And so I wanted to just have a conversation with just you guys that I probably can't have openly with, the rest of the team and just, say some things to you guys about leadership. So I want to start with you guys telling me, and everybody doesn't have to go, but tell me one win that you have had lately in your business. Share with us. Anybody? Come on.
I've sponsored 2 in like the last 2 weeks, and I booked a trunk show last night and got her all set up, and I spent time with her today. So I feel like I'm on a Stellan high right now. I'm like all in.
Yay! I love it. Okay, that's an awesome win.
Oh, and I'm meeting my new stylist, Chelsea, on Friday. She's like, hey, let's meet for coffee soon. I was like,
yes,
I've always wanted to do that. So we're meeting on Friday morning at 9, and I am really excited about that.
Yay! Okay, who else?
I'll go.
Laura?
So I did my first show where I traveled. I drove 2.5 hours for a show on Sunday, and it was almost $1,900 at this point. Like my biggest show I've ever had, and there's a potential stylist.
Yay!
Where was the show?
In New Braunfels.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
We need stylists there.
Yes, I have done several shows there, and there's only one stylist there, and she sells Ever too, and she doesn't do much still in Dot, or the one that I know of.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
That was close to you, Amy.
Yeah, you were.
Anyone else have a win?
Okay, I'm just going to proclaim a small victory here. Y'all are going to laugh at me, but this is just the stage of life I'm in.
No.
So this has taken me a week to do.
That's amazing.
Or maybe 2 weeks. But I finally got 40 people on here, and I've been working my way down.
Yeah.
And you haven't done a tracker since Maisie was born, right?
No.
So that's huge. Like, that's huge. Do you feel good about that?
I do. I'm a little, I have like very little time to do Trump shows. So I'm like, here's my 3 dates. But it's fine. And I'm actually, so like we're leaving for South Africa right after Easter, and we'll be gone for 6 weeks. And so I won't be home until June 4th. So I actually think I'm going to try though to do online shows even while I'm gone, because I'll have internet. It's just the time change will be kind of weird, but I'm just trying to make it work because I don't want to miss out on Mother's Day. I was in the same boat last year, and it was fine. I made it work, so I'm just kind of trying to get creative.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, awesome. I started doing the reach outs today. If you're on our sponsoring Marco Polo, you heard me say this, but I started reaching out to everybody that shopped with me and just doing customer care text messages like, hey, how are you? Like, I hope, your things arrive? Did you like it? And then when they respond, I am, instead of leading with the hostess opportunity, I'm leading with the stylist opportunity. And I have 2 potential stylists now, and I had none this morning. But I had to do something to drum something up. And so one girl is actually reading over the material that I sent her tonight, and she works for Marriott Hotels. I met her at the vendor show this weekend. Laura, it was one of the girls that had come before you guys had shown up, and I just messaged her and said, did you get your things? All she bought was the heart earrings, and she loves them. And she's like, I'm super interested. And I booked a trunk show from it. So from those same follow-ups today. So
there's someone behind you.
Me?
Yeah. Is there like someone looking in the window? Okay. Just
my mom. Hi, Mom. Okay.
They had wound them up, and I said the prayers and prayers.
Love you. We'll see. All right, I'll call you tomorrow. My parents are putting the kids to bed.
Hi, girls.
She said, hi, girls.
Hi.
Hi, Miss Ann. I got so nervous. I was like, there's a person behind
There's somebody peeping by you. My parents came over to see the kids, and mom was like, I gave them showers and washed their hair and put them to bed, but your dad got them all wound up, so we're leaving. I was like, okay, whatever. Okay, so that was good because like I felt like all my sponsoring leads had basically gone dead, and so I needed a fresh start. So I just started with my last. I texted every single order in the month of March, and that's what I started with. So if you want those words to say, text me later, and I will send them to you. Okay, so yay for some wins. That's amazing. All right, so moving on. Someone tell me, or have you thought about, what is your hoopla goal? Anyone have a hoopla goal?
Look at my dashboard for a moment. Hold on.
I can tell you mine real quick.
What?
Mine is to get back to my star pay rank. So I hit star last April for the first time, and then I hit it again in November, and then I haven't hit it again since. So mine is of course I need more to sponsor more girls. I need more girls on my team, but to consistently hit star.
Yep. I like it. Anyone else have one? If you're like, I haven't thought about it yet, that's okay. I'm not trying to say that you have to. Yeah.
Mine's kind of the same, Laura. I want to consistently hit star. I feel like I'm kind of in a rebuilding phase because I've had so many girls pretty much drop off or quit for whatever reason. And then at director's retreat, we wrote on those lemons.
Mm-hmm.
I put like a team with active stylists. And so I feel like I'm finally in the right direction. I had a rough start this year, just with everything going on, but now I feel like I'm finally getting into a rhythm. And I'm like, even though my life is insanely busy, I'm just finding little pockets of time and just being intentional with what I'm doing.
Yeah, I love it. Anyone else?
Okay, I'll say something. We just came in from baseball, so sorry. That's why I'm muting the picture and all that stuff so that I can walk around and do my stuff because my husband's putting the kids to bed. But I would like to hit senior stylist and see where that goes. One of my girls, and last month I signed 2 girls. One of them signed somebody during her quick start. They have not done anything. Like, she had to push her to even get her order in. So, any advice on that would be great to try to get her motivated and moving because she's just not doing anything. And so, I don't know. Help with that.
All right, so senior stylist by Hoopla. Okay. I mean, I would love to be Heart Leadership Director by Hoopla. April, May, June, July. I don't really have April, May, June, July. Yeah, month-wise, that would be hard to do. But director consistently, I'd love to say senior director. But if I'm hitting director consistently, then that would mean that I could really give a serious goal of senior director in the holiday season, which would be amazing. Okay. So then it becomes, and if you don't have a goal by Hoopla, I would challenge you, not that Hoopla is the end all be all, but it is a really good time frame to kind of say, okay, we have April, May, June, July, that's 4 months. A lot can happen in your business in 4 months. And I mean that in 2 ways. You can grow it a lot, or it can become very stagnant in 4 months. And so a lot of change can happen. So I think Hoopla is kind of a good goal. And sometimes you're like, I want to walk into Hoopla at my pay rank or at my whatever it is. And so that's always a good thing. So the question is, how are you going to get there? So I wanted to talk about a couple of just like leadership basic things. First of all, Amy hit on this earlier, time management. Whenever you have a new goal, so like, let's just say, Amy and Laura are like, we want to be back at Star by Hoopla. You can't take a new goal or a new plan for your business and put it into a current infrastructure. You have to actually make some changes to what you're doing. And it may not be how often you're doing it. Maybe it may not even be the hours that you're working, but it may be what you're doing during those hours. But you have to start with the hours. And so we're going to talk about what to do during your working hours in just a second. But let's talk about some ways that you can actually find some extra hours in your day. Could you maybe get up an hour earlier? I'm not a night owl. I would rather get up an hour earlier. I started doing this even just 2 days a week. I don't get up, or because I already have to get Carson up by 6 because he goes to school early. So I'll get up at 5, but just 2 days a week. If I do that 5 days a week, then I'm exhausted. So because I'm staying up a little bit later hanging out with Chris. So where could you find one extra hour of time? Could it be in the morning? And then when you have that time, or I know Amy said she was at the baseball fields the other night and she booked a trunk show while she was there. So when are there times where you are, sitting in a carpool, or you've got 20 minutes there, Amanda, you've got your tracker filled out. Now some of the hard part is just filling it out. Now you can find small pockets, that I like to call it nooks and crannies of time. Miranda's texting me. She's like, I'm late at the salon tonight. So finding those pockets of time and then having focused office hours. I like to do my office hours during the day, but at least once a week, like tonight, I try to have an evening office hour. I find that helps me with coaching with even my girls that work full time, because not everybody works during the day. And I hear that a lot from leaders. Like, it's hard for me to connect with my team. A lot of them work full time. Like Laura, I know you have a lot of girls on your team that are full-time teachers. So look at your work hours and just say, okay, I've been doing a lot of work on Wednesday during the day, but what if I switched some of my errand running to Wednesday during the day and I just worked 1 hour at night? Then maybe I could connect with some of those people that are working during the daytime. And then you're scheduling coaching calls, you're communicating with them in the evening. In the evening, I love to do things like plan emails. I will schedule posts for our team page, like all the posts that went up today on my team page. I wasn't posting those live. I scheduled those last night because I was going to go have coffee with a friend today and I needed to focus on my personal sponsoring today. But last night I stayed up and I planned all of those posts out. Does that make sense? So, and if you don't have a group, so some of you don't have, most of y'all don't have Facebook groups for your team. I would certainly hope that you have some kind of chat with your team, like a Facebook group chat. Like Laura, isn't that what you guys do, or do y'all do texting?
Yeah, we will text sometimes, but I also have a Marco Polo group.
Okay. So if you have like a text or a Facebook chat happening with your team, you can always write the post down in the notes section of your phone, just like you would save words to say. You guys have all done that before. You could do the same thing with your coaching. So you're sitting at the ball field and something comes to mind and you're like, oh, I want to write that post later. Go to the notes section of your phone, create a file, save it as posts. And that way, when it's time to post it, or you want to go post it in your team chat, or you want to send a text to some people, it's just a copy and paste type thing. Does that make sense? So you might not want to post something at 10 o'clock at night because not a lot of people are going to see it or respond to it, or it's inappropriate to text somebody that late. Go ahead and write it up and save it. Those are little time-saving tips that I've kind of learned along the way where I can work it during my time. Yeah, Amanda.
So that's one thing that's been a big struggle for me is I pretty much do everything at night. I'm a night owl. I'll stay up till 12:30, 1 o'clock every night. So that's like my work time, but it doesn't start until like 9:30 most nights. So I struggle with like booking reach outs. Well, I'm not going to text people at 9:30 at night.
Right.
So, I mean, would you suggest just I think it's just time consuming when I have to input their phone number and all the, what, do you have a time saving tip on that?
Yeah, you don't have to do that. You go into Mimi.
Right into Mimi.
You go into Mimi and you go into, today I went into my business right here and I clicked on orders and I found everybody that had recently ordered with me. When I click on them, when I click on the order, their phone number is at the top. And I hold my thing down, my phone number down, my hand down, and it says text. And it pops their phone number, text. or call, and it pops their phone number into a text message. I don't ever write phone numbers down.
I did not know this. This would have saved a lot of time.
Yeah. So you can do all that through Mimi. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
huge time saver. And you have to schedule your own personal business time aside from your team and your coaching time. And so maybe, Amanda, some of during the daytime, you're doing your personal reach outs, and at night, you're doing some of your coaching things, because you can send emails and Facebook messages for coaching. And you can tell your team, I work late at night, so I'm going to communicate via, a Facebook Messenger with you guys. We're going to have a Facebook Messenger group, because that way it's not waking you up, your phone's not dinging all night long, So maybe that's what you need to do. And then during the day, you're focusing, you can totally do that. So you need to, our business, and this is something I want you guys to hear, and that was something that was really important to me during Maven, is when Danielle told us that our business is flexible of when you work, but not if you work. If you're going to grow your team and if you're going to be a leader. So I love talking about flexibility, and you can be flexible all you want, but flexing out as a leader makes it really hard to flex back in. And to be honest with you, it gets very confusing with your team, because they don't know, is she in? Is she out? Is she okay? Did I do something wrong? I mean, they have no idea. They are looking to you. And I can do as much as I can on the Black Opals team page, but your personally sponsored girls are looking to you, because you're the one that brought them in, right? So yes, it is flexible. So just remember that, it's flexible of when I work, but not if I work. So I got to get X number of things done. When I get those done, if you want to do it at 1 a.m., Amanda, that's totally fine. Do it through a platform that is appropriate for communicating at 1 a.m. and make it work for you, but just make sure that it's working. Okay. So think about your time. That's going to be your first challenge this week. It's to really kind of hone in. It sounds like, Amy has kind of done this recently, but I want the rest of you guys to think about, okay, how can I carve away this time? And can I pick 3 days during the week and 1 evening time to offer, so that I know that I'm, diversifying my availability to my team. But then it's like, okay, Callie, great. I have 4 hours during the week that I can be working. What do I need to do? What am I supposed to do? Tell me what to do as a leader. Because I'll be real honest with you, our team is growing, which is amazing, but I can't do everything, and nor do you guys want me to. You're capable of doing it, but I know for me, when I was stepping into leadership, I'm like, just tell me. I don't know. Tell me what to do, and I will go do it. So first of all, you need to understand that your depth affects your paycheck, and your width affects your pay rank. Okay? Your depth is going to affect your paycheck, and your width is going to affect your pay rank. Okay, now those two things are tied together, but my paycheck stays pretty consistent. There's not that big of a difference right now for me between star and associate director, because my depth, my team is deep, right? So my paycheck stays pretty consistent, right? That's important, because you need to be able to work on both of those. And I say that because your width is going to be about your personal sponsoring and your personal business, but your depth is going to be about how you really build a sustainable business, and a business that, over the long run, you begin to build some leaders, which I know is all of you guys would love to do that. So my first big tip, and I hope that you've seen this with me as I'm leading, which is our motto in Maven. It has been my motto anytime I'm talking to a leader, which is never walk alone. Never, ever, ever, ever as a stylist or as a leader should you be walking alone. What do I mean by that? I mean that your team should know when your trunk show calendar is happening. You guys have seen me post on the team page. I've kind of let it slip this past couple of months. I actually need to post my April and May calendars. Mine change so frequently. I know y'all's do too, but don't use that as an excuse. Your team needs to know when and where your trunk shows are. They need to know that they are invited to them at any time. for the most part, have stopped going to my stylist's new trunk shows. I instead invite them to mine. I want them to come to me because it's just smarter. And as you have to be duplicatable, right? And as you sponsor, you have to make leading a team look doable for someone else. And if you are going to every new stylist's brand new launch show, your new stylist is going to be like, oh gosh, I don't want to do what Amy's doing. That's crazy. Versus them coming to you and saying, hey, these are my next 4 trunk show. Your new stylist training with your new stylist, you should present her with your trunk show pipeline. And if she is not local to you, then you should offer to FaceTime with her and bring a little iPad stand or your phone and put it up on a tripod at your trunk show at checkout chat and tell the people right there, be like, listen, I'm FaceTiming with the new stylist on my team. I'm actually training her virtually. It's a fantastic sponsoring conversation to have while you're at a trunk show. I also love having new stylists at a trunk show with me because all of a sudden when I introduce myself and I say, oh my gosh, thanks, Stacy for letting me bring 2 girls on my team. They're actually brand new stylists. Another part of my fantastic part of my job is that I get to train them. All of a sudden people are like, oh my gosh, she's a trainer. Like, that's amazing, right? So invite them to come with you and they should know what you're doing. Hostess calls. When you're calling your hostess, you're doing some hostess coaching, why don't you ask your new stylist if they want to hop on the phone with you and do a 3-way with your hostess on hostess coaching? Because you're doing hostess coaching anyways. And if you have a host, like say you have a new stylist and she's having trouble with booking and she's having trouble getting people at her trunk shows, then, and maybe it's a repeat hostess and you actually don't need to really have a really big hostess coaching conversation call. Why don't you text her and say, listen, I have a new stylist. She's having trouble booking. I'm really trying to help her. Is there any chance you and I could hop on the phone and we could talk about your trunk show and I could walk you through a couple of things and she could listen in? Ask your hostess. Ask her if you're communicating all through text. Be like, hey, I'm going to call you this afternoon. Or maybe you don't even just be like, hey, I'm going to call you this afternoon, run through a couple of things for your trunk show. What time's a good time to call you? And then before you hop on the call, say, hey, by the way, a new girl on my team is going to hop on and listen. Actually, I think I've done it before where I haven't even told the hostess. Because I muted the girl on the other line, right? I muted my new stylist. And I just let her listen in on my hostess coaching call. Okay? If you are attending a booking blitz, always, always, always invite girls on your team to come. Send them a personal text message. It doesn't take long. If you were going to do the watch party tonight, invite your girls to come, not just texting them, or not just texting, not just tagging them on Facebook, but texting them. So think about this. What am I doing in my business? And am I walking alone? All right. I had a vendor show on Saturday. I could have done the entire vendor show by myself. It's a 6-hour vendor show. It's one of the best ones in Katy. And I could have done it by myself, but I split the time, and Laura Parker and Brooke Lamore came, and they did the second half. They showed up a little bit early. They watched me talk to some people. They got some experience. They used my display. Like, just think about this in your business. How could you never walk alone? What are you doing in your business that you're like, oh, I should be sharing this? That's exactly what I'm doing on the Black Opals team page. That's all I'm doing. I'm sharing. It's too hard to create new content. I don't want to create new content. I want to just share exactly what I'm doing. I get asked a lot, like, how do I engage my team? How do I inspire them? How do I motivate my team? The only way you can motivate your team is to A, understand their why, and B, show them what you're doing. That's the only way you could do it. No one was ever inspired by not knowing what you're doing. No one's going to be inspired by that. No one is like, they don't know what you're doing. They have no idea. So you have to bring them along and you have to tell them. Leadership doesn't have to be something else that you're adding on to your life. Does that make sense? It should not be something that you're doing all this extra stuff for. It should be, hey, I'm going to send some hostess packets. I'm putting them together. Pause. Let me take a picture of what I do and send it to my girls real quick. Let me hop on Marco Polo and walk them through this real quick. That's why I started the booking and the sponsoring Marco Polos. I needed to book and sponsor, and I don't want to do it alone. So let's just have all you guys, and that's what it's been. If you're on those chats, we're just hopping on there talking about what we're doing. That's all it is. So it builds that community, and that's how they become inspired, because then they start to see that you actually don't have some kind of secret sauce. So never, ever, ever walk alone. So think about in your business, what are you doing that you could all of a sudden invite someone along into your daily activity? How are you communicating with your team? Do you have a mode? Is it Facebook Messenger? Is it text? Is it whatever? Okay, Marco Polo. And when you start thinking like, oh my gosh, I want to motivate them, they're motivated by seeing you do what you do. Okay, and seeing you get out of your comfort zone and put yourself out there and go for a goal and not reach it and juggle all the things, and that's what's inspiring to them. I mean, I get inspired when I watch other women and I hear from other women, right? Same, there's no difference in your business. Okay, so any questions about that? Does that make sense? Yes, no? You're in the headlights? Okay. So now who to coach and when? So now you're like, okay, I got some time. I know what I need to do, but who do I coach? Because all of you have girls on your team who are like AWOL. You know, you have girls that are somewhat active. So how do you know? Okay, so I want to ask you this, and this is going to be one of your other challenges, and this is not going to be something that maybe you know right now, but I want you to think about this week, and I'm going to challenge you to do this. Who are two people? I just want you to think of two people on your team that you believe in the most. So who are two people on your team that maybe they've never sponsored, or maybe they were new, maybe they're kind of like in the background, or maybe not. Who are the two people on your team that you believe in the most? What if this week, by Friday, you called both of them and you told them that you believed in them, that you thought they were amazing, you see XYZ in them, and you just wanted to know if for the next 3 weeks, they'd want to hop on the phone once a week and chat about their business for like 30 minutes. I don't want you to do an hour call. I want you to do an hour and a half call, and I don't want you to think you have all the answers. Because guess what? You don't need to have the answers. That's actually not what coaching is about. It's not about having all the answers. But what if you called two people that you believed in, you told them what and why you believed is true about them, and then you just said, hey, I want to try something out. For the next like 3 weeks, the next 3 Thursdays at 1 o'clock, what do you think about hopping on the phone for just 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes? You pick a time, whatever works in your schedule. And let's just talk about what's working, what our wins are for the week. Because I actually really think that you have so much potential, and I just want you to know that. And I'd love to just connect with you more. And you can't do this for everybody, but I want you to see if maybe you could find two people on your team. Is that something you could do? I bet you could. And I bet there are people there that you probably think about, right? Like you probably see them and you're thinking, man, she's so consistent. Maybe it's that girl that's selling $300 every month. Maybe she's not even qualifying, but like she's beating the odds and she's doing awesome things. Like Jenny, I'm thinking about what?
Julia Thompson.
Yeah, thinking about Julia Thompson. I mean, rock star, like it has so much potential, but maybe has never been told that. And just said, listen, I see something in you and I just love for the next 3 weeks, or pick 4 weeks. I don't care. Pick a time frame. I don't think time frame's irrelevant. But I think it's the fact that you have recognized them and you've called them out on something and you've said, I'd like to connect with you once a week. Okay. Then after that, so that's just two people though. But maybe every month you do that with 2 new people on your team as your team begins to grow. And then, so that's one thing I want you to do. And that's really like very intentional, personal connection. Then I want you to think about your team in 2 buckets, okay? And your coaching in 2 buckets. I want you to think about, and you might want to write this down, on the first of the month, I want you to look up your trunk show pipeline. I want you to go into your reports, and I want you to look at your trunk shows. And I don't care if you do it somewhere between the 1st and the 3rd of the month, and this should be every single month that you do this. You want to reach out to every single person on your team that has a trunk show booked. And I want you to say this in whatever terms you want to say it. I want you to say, I see you. Kudos. I see you. Number 2, you got this. You could do it. Number 3, how are you going to maximize these trunk shows? And you can say that in whatever term you want to say it, whatever sounds authentic to you. But those are the 3 things you want to say. I see you, because we all want to be seen, right? That's why kudos are so important, because we just want to know that somebody recognized us. But I see you. You got this. You're amazing. You've already booked a trunk show. You've already booked 3 trunk shows. So I see you. You got this. How are you going to maximize it? What are you going for? You want to sell 3,000? You want to sell 2,500? How are you going to maximize it? How's your hostess coaching? You know, how can I help? That's all you're going to ask. Your coaching call, you actually should not be doing much of the talking. You want to be asking a lot of questions, because somebody is way more willing to act upon something that they have come up with, an idea that they have created, than something rather than that you've told them to go do. Okay, so you're just going to ask them some questions. Tell me about your hostess. Tell me about those trunk shows. Okay, well, you know, what's the attendance looking like? Have you sent out? Ask her questions. I see you. You got this. How are you going to maximize it? That's on the 1st of the month, 1st, 2nd, or 3rd of the month. Every single person has a trunk show book. And you know what she might say? Oh, I just threw that in there. That's actually my own trunk show. Okay, that's totally fine. But have you thought about actually having it in person? What if you invited some friends over? Okay, so all kinds of, it opens a lot of doors. Plus, it just gets you talking to them about it, what they're putting in the lounge. It lets them know that you're looking at it. Then on the 15th of the month, so halfway through the month, it could be the 17th, whatever. I want you to go back into reports, and I want you to look at your team coaching report, and I want you to sort it from high to low. Okay, and you could do a couple things like this. One option is that you could look at anybody that's close to the goals that Stella and Dot has already put out for them, right? These are the goals for the free product credit. You've sold $300. It's the 15th of the month. If you get $200 more, you're going to get $50 in free product. You totally got this. Let's brainstorm some ways to get there, all right? Because you don't want to reach out on the 27th of the month. Then that feels like a hustle for somebody who wouldn't get into this for the hustle. So as a leader, you want to look at it on the 15th of the month. Who has sold whatever? Now, what I typically do with my team, and you don't have to do this, but I will kind of toss out the top 30%, and I disregard anybody that's sold nothing, and I focus on those middle girls. Why do I throw out the top 30%? It's normally you girls that are right here, and I talk to y'all. It's not that I don't coach you, but I'm probably already talking to those people, right? So it's like, all of y'all are the ones at the top of my reports. So, you know, I don't need to, I coach you in other ways, right? And ideally, you're talking to the most active girls on your team more often anyways. So 1st of the month, you're reaching out to anyone that has a trunk show. 15th of the month, and if your team is small, you're reaching out to anybody that has sold anything, okay? Anyone that sold anything, and you're like cheering them on. I've reached out to people when we've had a new collection launch. I'm like, oh my gosh, you sold $397. And they'll respond back, that was my own personal order. I'm like, well, girl, you got PQV for it. Now go sell a one getaway bag and you're going to get $50 more in free product credit. So I just kind of like go with it. You know what I'm saying? But again, I'm connecting with them. I see you. You're telling them, I see you. You got this. How can you maximize it? That is you're going to find that with leadership. You're saying the same things over and over and over again, but you're saying it in different ways. I see you. You got this. How are you going to maximize it? All right? So that's what I want you to do. 1st of the month, Style sessions is what you're looking at. You should know where your trunk show pipeline is. You should know. Let me tell you this. Hold on, write this down. For a star stylist, your trunk show pipeline needs to be at least 15 trunk shows on average. Because we know a star stylist needs $10,000 in volume, right? We're gonna say 15 trunk shows just because we know that some of those are not gonna qualify. So 15 is an average. Can you hit star with 10 trunk shows? Sure. Can you miss star with 20 trunk shows? Absolutely. 15 is an average. 15 trunk shows. For an associate director, you need 30 trunk shows on your calendar, your team calendar. Director, you need 60. Senior director is 120, and star director is 240. You as a leader should know where your trunk show pipeline is. You should know on the first of the month, yikes, we got to pick it up this month. And the good news is that historically speaking, the end of the month is weighted more heavy with trunk shows. And so don't freak out on the first. If you want to hit star and you only have 7 trunk shows on your calendar, your team can still get to 15. You can still get there. Our team trunk show pipeline changes every single day. It's always changing. So, but as a leader, if I were to come to you and be like, tell me what your trunk show pipeline is, and I'm talking to you on the 10th of the month, you should know what it is. You should know where your team is. Because you're not going to get there to star or associate director or beyond. And plus, you might be hitting star stylist and your trunk show pipeline might be at 30. And then you're going, whoa, 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 whoa. My team has the volume for associate director. I just need a star, right? Like when you start looking at the numbers, you're like, I mean, we're doing the work of an associate director team anyways. How am I going to find my star? And that's another coaching call. We're going to talk about that later, like how you find your diamonds in the rough. So you should look at your coaching call. You should know about your pipeline, and then you're talking to anyone that sold anything. You cannot lead in silence. You just can't do it. People don't know what you're doing. You're not required to have the answers. You don't have to be the guru of Stella and Dot. That's not the purpose. But the purpose is for your team to know that you see them and that you recognize them. Because everyone on your team is either growing up or they're growing out. It's kind of like a relationship, right? They're on their way up and they're feeling great about their business, or they're slowly dying a slow death and they're on their way out, all right? And the reason that they might be on their way out is one of probably 3 things. They're not feeling rewarded, they're not feeling developed, or they're not feeling recognized. Typically those 3 things. They're not feeling rewarded, developed, or recognized, okay? And you as a leader you impact a lot of that. You impact whether or not, for some most girls on Stella and Dot, like they're not getting a pat on the back for a lot of things. And kudos might be no big deal to you because it may not be your love language. For a lot of girls, it's a big deal. Like Sarah Ellis, who just joined and she's in South Carolina, her husband texted me and told me that she was in tears after I wrote kudos about her hitting her quick start. She's been one of my best friends for years, and I had no idea. He was like, that meant so much to her. To me, it was like, I mean, it's not that it didn't matter, but you underestimate the impact that you have on these women. And, you know, kudos should be something that you schedule in. It should be something that you put on your calendar. And maybe you're scheduling it at days of the week, and maybe you're like, okay, every 10th of the month, I'm going to look at XYZ, or pick. This week I'm going to go, I put it on my to-do list to go kudo people, because recognition is a huge part of it. And I want to kudo them in different ways, not just on their team page. I want to go to their personal page too and kudo them there too. Sometimes I want to tag their husband in it too, so that he knows and can be proud of her. And you know, they want to be developed too. And they want to know that they're growing. And a lot of that will just come with you just chatting with them about it, recognizing them. And your only goal as a leader, when you get worried about like, oh gosh, I don't know, leadership kind of freaks me out. You just want to lift their hope and raise their belief in themselves, because most of these people don't believe in, the girls on our team don't believe that, they have doubts coming into that. So you need to have enough belief for both of them, for you and her. And you need to be like, no, I actually believe that you can do this. And, you know, you're not going to be perfect at the beginning. You're not. I can promise you that. But I'm not going to give up on you. And so, like, look at all the things that you have accomplished. Look at all the things that you have persisted through. Look how much you have grown and the people you've met, or whatever it is, these conversations that you're having with them. But you start to dig up those conversations as you're doing things like looking through your reports. So you use your reports as a tool to be like, okay, who should I be reaching out to this month? Who do I talk to at the beginning of the month? Who do I talk to in the 15th of the month? What do I say to them? What's my point? I get on a coaching call with them and, you know, what do I say? Okay. And you never walk alone, and you share what you're doing. That is what's going to energize your team and keep them re-energized and engaged, is by knowing what you're doing. Helpful? Not helpful? Callie, you're dumb. Stop talking to us.
I think this is so helpful, because I feel like this is my weakest point, is I'm just a doer, but I don't know how to make other people do it, you know?
Yeah.
But I'm not telling them how to do it. I am at the beginning, and then I'm letting them loose, and then they're not doing it, and then they, you know. So this is, I mean, I just took 2 pages of notes. This is good for me.
Okay, good. Does it give you more of a direction of like what you should be doing with your time as a leader?
Yes. Well, there's a lot of stuff here. I've done it one time, but I'm not doing it consistently. Or like the booking blitz, you know, I knew Lauren was on there because I saw her. And so, but I didn't invite my 2 new girls to that. Why not? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I need to be more mindful of what I'm doing for the girls under me.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments?
I don't think you can see me.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm driving in the dark. I'm trying to deliver some earrings to somebody. And anyways, I don't know if this is it, but I think this is super, let me see if you can see me now. This is super helpful as well. Obviously, Amy is like, you know, my strongest leg, and I talk to her all the time, but sometimes, I don't know, like last month I was frustrated because I think Amy and I were the only ones that did anything, and like the rest of my first line was just like a big fat zeros, and I was like, what the heck? And these are just really good reminders, I think, that it's like, okay. And also you've given me new ideas on things too. So I think this is very helpful. And I took notes until Starbucks closed, and then I had to leave, but I'll get Amy's. So I appreciate this.
Jenny, were you going to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, I think where I get in trouble sometimes is like kind of like Amanda, like you and Amy, and like there are certain girls on my team that like you guys are so self-motivated, and so like y'all know I don't have to tell you that you're close to hitting 2,500. Like y'all already know that. And so I think sometimes what I do is I get kind of hands off because, and I kind of operate like that. Like you don't really need to tell me, like Callie, you don't need to tell me like you're close to hitting star. Like I know that, and I know you know that. And so like sometimes what happens though is that I get so hands off, and I just assume that y'all are all rolling on without me. You know, it's like, well, I don't need to talk to them, and I don't want to bother y'all, especially I feel like you guys are going to go, and not just you two specifically, you're just the ones on this call. But I feel like sometimes it's like, I don't ever want y'all to think that I don't want to be a leader that like micromanages and is like overly in your face about things. But what I think will happen is like, Amanda, you're sitting there saying the same thing, that all of a sudden you're going, man, it was just me and this other person doing this, and everyone else on my team was at a 0. And like someone like Rivers, who is fully capable of selling $2,000, did not do that. And so the question is like, well, why didn't she? And she's someone that I would think would just be able to do it. And I guess in summary, I can make assumptions about people that they don't need me when they might actually need me.
Yeah. And that kind of comes in the difference between coaching and training, because they don't need you to train them. They don't. Rivers doesn't need any training. Amy and Amanda need no training. But we all want someone to be our cheerleader, and we all want someone to recognize us. That's just feels good. And, training is just giving them information. They can find that in the lounge, right? But coaching is relating this to them, right? And like, let me cheer you on with your goal. Yeah, I know you know how to get there, but let me be on the sidelines being your number one cheerleader, So, I mean, remembering, I think we get caught up in that our only job is to like, okay, how are you going to hit that goal? Or versus like, hey, I just believe in you. Like, I think you're awesome. And like, you can achieve whatever it is that you want to go and that you're willing to work for it. And I'm here to cheer you on and be there for you. So like, how can we maximize this? How can we get you to, associate stylist by Hoopla or whatever it is? So I think that's, really important. So I want us, as leaders, I think it's good for us to be able to like be together and like talk about some of these things, because we don't get to, with the general population of our team. And I want to talk about on upcoming calls when, and if we do this again, I want to talk about like when you actually do get on that coaching call with somebody and they're complaining all the time, or you have the girl that always wants to complain. How do you get out of that? How do you end that cycle? What are you telling them when you get on a coaching call? How do you teach someone how to sponsor? How do you pick up sponsoring if you haven't sponsored in a long time? How do you avoid the negative messages that are in your head? Talk about some pacing partners, new stylist trainings, I don't know, all those kinds of things. I'd love to talk about some of those things. So thank y'all for hopping on here. I hope that you will take some of this. What I would love for you guys a challenge for you guys, if I had to walk away and give you 3 things to do, I would want you to call 2 people on your team, tell them that you believe in them and that you'd love to, for the next 3 weeks, like try out just talking to them for 30 minutes. I'd love for you to do that. I really want you to pay attention to your trunk show pipeline, and I want you to know where it is. And on the 15th of the month, which is coming up in just 5 days, I want you to talk to everybody that's even sold $1 and tell them, hey, I see you. I recognize you. You got this. And I'd just love for you to be more aware of your time and how you can work smarter in smaller pockets of time.
Can we do this again sometime?
We can do this again sometime. I would really love to. And I like talking about like a little bit higher level stuff too. Like, I'm not going to get on here and tell you guys how to book trunk shows. Like, you're a leader, you know how to book trunk shows. Chances are, if you're stuck in your business, it's probably because you stopped doing something that you used to be doing. So what is it that you used to be doing, and how can you start doing that again? You guys know how to do all the things. You just stopped doing it. You haven't forgotten. You haven't forgotten anything. You just stopped doing it. And so, I mean, ask yourself why. Why did I stop doing that? What was it that I was doing when I was happy with my business and where it was? Maybe you just started being lazier with your time, or you're not scheduling it as much, or you said yes to too many things, or you're not saying yes to enough things, or, I don't know. But there's something that if your business isn't where you wanted it to be, it's because you stopped doing something that you used to be doing. Because you got the know-how. All of you guys do. Right? Okay.
I have a quick question before we hop off.
Yeah.
When is the new stylist training? Is there one on the Crush It page? Because I just want to let Brittany and Chelsea know about that. Do they do one for home office still?
They do them, yes, for home office. And have you gotten them on Zoom and done one together?
No, I mean, I'm meeting with Chelsea in person on Friday, and then I spent like an hour and a half on the phone last week with Brittany and kind of went through like Mimi, and I talked about Style Club, how to book a trunk show, how to enter an order. We walked through all that. She is just she had somebody do her wanting to do her launch show, and then she had to cancel, and so now she's trying to find a new person to do her launch show.
Yeah. If I were you, I would do their new stylist training together. I would try and get on. I mean, I know you're going to go meet with one of them in person, but for the like nitty gritty, hop on Zoom. And, you know, I will be honest with you. I was doing them for a while, like pretty consistently every 2 weeks on our team page into the last 3 where I sat on Zoom by myself, which is totally fine. But I'm happy to do a team new stylist training as well. I should probably look at, you know, I will be honest, new stylists that don't know me are less likely to hop on a Zoom call with me, which is part of the problem. Like they don't know me. I mean, my girl and I wouldn't, if I'm doing new stylist training with, you know, my 2 potential stylists that are hopefully you're going to sign up this month, then I will invite everybody. I would invite anybody to new stylist training, but they're more likely to come if you've set it up for them, right? And I can hop on anytime. They're like, hey, Callie, I'm doing a Zoom. My new stylist, can you hop on with me at XYZ time? I mean, I can give you my Zoom login if you don't have a Zoom account's free. The free account lasts you 40 minutes. I had the paid account, so it's unlimited. But, you know, sometimes I like the 40-minute timer because it means that you're not going to be on forever.
Yeah.
So, but good question. They have been doing them often. I think what you're going to do is better.
Okay.
So, hey, y'all say cheese. Yay. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I'm hoping we can do this. Maybe we're not going to commit to every week, but maybe every other week, once every 3 weeks or so, we'll hop on. And I basically had just pulled some of my favorite things from Maven that I thought were like the most critical thing for me. And it changed my business when I stopped walking alone in leadership. It really did. And I think I led our team differently and my new stylists differently. I've had stronger launches. Out of the 5 girls that I sponsored in February, only 1 didn't launch. But I've just looped them in on everything, you know, and it helps that way. So, okay.
Callie, I think you're on fire. I just wanted to say that.
Sure is on fire.
You're so sweet because yesterday I like wanted to quit, so it's fine.
Oh.
It's so funny that y'all say that because like I seriously like I messaged Jennifer Ehrbacher and I'm like, what am I doing? Everything is just failing. I feel like I'm failing at everything. I mean, you know, we're always our toughest critics, and and so it was good today to finally get someone to say that they were interested in maybe hearing about the opportunity. And but I have to just keep doing what I know works, even when it's not really what I want to do, because I know that I love you guys and I just love our business so much. And I love the opportunity and the flexibility that, I mean, even when I don't feel it, I still do it.
Mm.
So thank you. You're sweet, but I too go through all the same emotions you guys do.
On an unrelated note, just in case anyone needs any home decor items, wayfair.com, it's Way Day today.
I saw that. What does that mean?
So it's like most of the site is 80% off. It's free shipping on everything, like furniture. Everything.
Just today though?
Yeah. Well, I think it's 36 hours. But today, like I already put something in my cart. By the time I went to check out, someone else took it. Like it's gone. So I just got a bedding set for Ellie that's like a comforter, sheets, pillows, like the whole shebang for $55.
Stop.
Yeah. So
I need furniture in my house. I need a headboard.
Oh, you'll find all the headboards.
Oh, they have cute headboards. I've been looking. They're
I
really
got
cute.
my headboard from Wayfair like 3 years ago, but I got my headboard from Wayfair.
Thank you, Jenny. Now I'm going to be up tonight.
Go wayfair.com and it's all the free shipping and it's all really good.
It's all the things.
Mm-hmm. So you're welcome. And tell your husbands you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate you so much.
All right.
Okay. Love you girls. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.